It's another Fourth Art Saturday video hop organized by Meri Atelier. Please follow the description box below for the links to the other crafters and artists. This month's theme is Make a Stamp. Not the kind of stamp you put on a letter and an envelope. That's illegal, but the kind of stamp we use on our artwork and crafting. Stay with me and see how I interpreted this month's theme. Hello survivors, hi family and friends. This is Roy from Bootsie Sweettarts Guide to Life and Other Disappointing Experiences, demonstrating how I use fabric, trims, and other materials to make stamps. A stamp comes in really handy in my crafting to repeat motifs and repeat patterns. If you follow my channel, you know that I am in love with fabric, and I love working with fabric, and I love embellishing either panels or handbags, tissue box covers, jewelry box covers. So when I heard of this month's theme of stamping, make a stamp, create a stamp, it was right up my alley. I got really excited. I've been wanting to do this for a long time and haven't just gotten around to it. So some of the things, of course, that you've seen on my videos, good old Muriel, Mildred, sorry, Muriel is on her way. All kinds of embellishments. You've seen this handbag before. These are stamps that I put on the handbag and then embellished. So what did I need for stamping? In my opinion, I need a base for the stamp. So I went into my stash of wood, leftover wood from leftover projects, and collected as many little pieces as I could find. Then I looked through my stash of trims and found some interesting trims. And I looked in my bag of, I forgot what they're called, they're foam shapes. As a teacher, I've collected so many arts and craft things. This is an absolutely huge bag full of well, that was fun, of shapes and letters. These I thought would be perfect stamps, but I wanted to be a little more creative. So my wooden blocks became the base, and I attached the stamping items two ways. One, thanks to Meri Atelier, who sponsors and organizes this video hop, I've fallen in love with double-stick carpet tape. And I found it useful for so many things, including stamping. So I take the double-stick tape, and for this particular stamp, I'm winding into a spiral the little cord. It's synthetic, little synthetic cording that I had, sort of a scrap. And I wanted to see how this would press out on a piece of fabric to make a flower. And you have to sear the edges there so they don't fray. And that becomes a nice stamp. The stickiness of the double stick tape disappears after a little bit of use. So the exposed stickiness isn't a problem. The second method I did use was hot glue. A lot of the trims that I've used for this particular project fit well with the side of the edge of the blocks of wood, and the hot glue worked perfectly. That's the easiest way I could have thought to attach these various materials. I have a panel that I'm working on trying to experiment with different kinds of applique and mixed media. Here I'm trying one of my stamps with trim. Not so pleased with it, but this is all an experiment for me. I really rarely have stamped. You can see that the flower pot with the flowers in it, that's the vase is fabric, but the rest is all stamped. Here I'm using one of the foam stamps that came in that huge bag of foam, and this worked fairly well. I was pleased with it. You can see some crochet on the side as well. That'll be part of this. And this is just a sampler and an experimental piece of fabric. So I like the foam flowers. That turned out nice. This is some mini rickrack. Not too sure how that turned out on this particular piece of fabric. I use a piece of paper to mask off areas that I don't want the stamp to show. This is the preparation for maybe a tree or a bush. The rickrack needs to be doubled on top of each other because otherwise you wind up getting extraneous marks from the stamp. Here I have that little spiral. So this is a smaller spiral. That again, not too thrilled with, but it's not bad. Later on I learned, of course, that fabric makes a big difference. This is very thin quilting cotton. Not sure how that works in the end, but I'm getting happier with it little by little. Here is a bigger spiral. It's not absorbing the paint as much as I'd like. There's one or two good prints. This is 4, 5 strings attached to a block of wood. That same cording. I'm liking that. That has a lot of use. And here's some rickrack, a bigger rickrack. There again, you can see some extraneous marks. So you've got to double up on that. This had promise to me, but it turned out not as clear as I'd like it. I think I can fix it some way where the pattern will stand out better. It has its uses. I like the airiness of it. You can see through the background through it. Nice. And then, of course, what's the power of the stamp is that you can repeat and repeat and repeat. And here we may have a nice lattice that I could use. There we have another piece of trim. Loving this piece. This shows up much better. Look at how pretty that is. This has a lot of use. That's going to be one of my favorites. I have a lot of that trim, and you can combine the trim with the print with the trim in an interesting combination. Here again is a spiral with a darker paint. Liking this. This has a lot of potential. I realized in the end that it was the fabric more than the stamps giving me the problem. Here is a heavier piece of canvas, more of the type of fabric I would make in the outside of a bag on, or a tote, or something like that. And the stamping is working much nicer with this. The patterns are clearer. The acrylic paint holds well to it. Look at how nice that was. In the first instance, you lost the definition. not here. This is very clear. So I'm liking this. Now I've got to find a use for all this practice fabric because I don't want to let it go to waste. These foam pieces are awesome. Again, you see you have to double up, see the extraneous marks. Even the rickrack came out really clear, both the big rickrack and the little rickrack. I tried another stamp. These are perfect, absolutely perfect. So I'm happy with that. Have some squiggles. They have some usefulness. So I was just having fun. I love this project, Meridel. It stretched my imagination and improved my skill in one area that I have absolutely no talent in, stamping. But now I have a new tool in my toolbox, because in the end result, the purpose of all of this for me was to be able to decorate sewing projects, predominantly totes, handbags, wristlets. So here, you know, take a piece of denim from the bottom of an old pair of jeans and start to decorate it. This will become a small, well, fancier tote than a tote, sort of like a grab-and-go bag. And I wanted to make a tree with some embellishments. There again is the rickrack on the bottom, and I have those string. I found a snowflake in the bag of foam that I had, and I was able to cut off two of the arms of the snowflake and make a stamp out of that. And that was, my hope was to make a leaf. And look at how nice the leaves turned out. This is another powerful, repetitive shape stamp that I can use. So this one is going into my Save Forever package collection. I'm really happy with the way that turned out. This is going to be the surface of one side of a bag, a handbag. Pretty. Again, I used this stamp, or 3 pieces of toothpick that I adhered with the double stick tape. And this, believe it or not, is a golf tee. Making little flowers with a golf tee. They're more like buds and flowers. And here's my finished project. Well, it's not finished, because now what I do is I add multimedia and stitching and embroidery to this, and we'll see how that turns out. Well, I hope you enjoyed my little journey of learning how to create my own stamps. Thank you for staying to the end. Please check the description box and follow the links of all the wonderful crafters and artists in this hop. Thank you, Meridel, for, as always, putting this together. And as I always say, stay smart, stay safe, stay healthy, and do something today to make yourself smile. Bye for now.